On today's episode of Wrong Side, a softball update, work struggles. Michael is already defeated after Lakers game 1, and I cannot stop spending money. We have a great interview with Kane Acosta, Ashes to Amber coming up for you guys, and wrapping up with Outside the Line, where Swifties, be warned before listening to that segment. Michael, you ready?
Yeah, I guess so. Fuck you, Jokic. Welcome back, listeners. Episode 7 of Wrong Side. Michael and Joey here again. It's been a long one. It's been a long week. I think
Yeah.
both of us have had our things. We've had our ups and downs. We're back at you live here on a Sunday. I know this always comes out on a Wednesday, but coming to you live, and a lot of stuff been going on outside of work that I think we're ready to touch on. As Joey said in our intro, Lakers down 1-0. It couldn't be worse. I think last episode you heard me say the belief and the hope was high. And our reel we posted on our social media, you saw my belief that I think they could do it. And for about 18 to 20 minutes of game 1, they were doing it. And everything was going great. And LeBron and AD were fantastic. And now I'm sitting here down 0-1, shell-shocked because a Jamal Murray stinker game, an AD and LeBron healthy domination game, and fucking Gru stealing the moon just makes every shot. KCP makes every shot. Michael Porter Jr., it doesn't matter how many of his brothers are in prison, he's still shooting well. I don't know what they do. D'Lo stinky game. I was wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought they got to win tomorrow. It is a must win tomorrow.
Game 2 is a must win. There were some great tweets that came out of game 1, my favorite of which being, it was something along the lines of, the Nuggets get off on the fact that the Lakers think that they're in the game, and then it always ends the same way with pure and utter domination. I tried to tell you, Michael. I did. The Lakers have no shot. The Nuggets are the champs. Jokic, Gru is unstoppable. And I think, like, the first half, the Lakers looked okay, but I really felt like Denver still had complete control over the game. And I know they were up as much as like 12, 14 points at one point, but it was the Nuggets were like laughing at them. They're like, come on, boys. Like, come on, Lakers. Like, go score your points.
It was like,
and then they
a
constrictor.
it was honestly like how when I was growing up, like Jake and I would play like basketball in the backyard.
Mm-hmm.
Like you let him have a couple.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah. Like, what's up? 5-0. You're like, yeah. You let him get one more shot, 6-0. He's feeling super, super excited, super hype. And then he shoots one from a little further and you block it. And it's like, let's go play. And they were like 6-0 lead. Didn't matter. I win 11-6. That's how it felt like.
Yep.
And I don't understand like why they are the boogeyman. Like I still stand by my fact last week that you cannot tell those guys to lose. Like, it is stupid to tank a game. I still believe that you're a professional athlete tanking a game to face a weaker opponent. I think honestly, James Worthy said it best that you can't do that. It's sickening. And like every real athlete outside of Mike Greenberg and Stephen A. Smith, the real athletes that played the sport outside of the ESPN people said that was so stupid. So I still stand by the fact that you have to win against New Orleans.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Do I regret it? Yes, that they have to play Denver, but I still stand by it. But something needs to flip. Reeves, feel more confident. Shoot the ball. Rui, take a shot. You're a good player. D'Lo, disgusting. Wake up. Sit at the court for 40 minutes after. Yeah, sit at the court. You should have stayed after the court this game to shoot. So, I don't know. Lakers stink. Whatever.
I threw a Nuggets future at halftime. It's the same.
Wow.
They're inevitable. They're inevitable.
I still don't think. And watching Boston play today, both of them looked incredible.
Boston looked scary.
Someone was making fun. They were like Peyton Pritchard and Sam Hauser. These guys are just like making everything. Like, that's a similar team. Like, they just make everything. And
people forget.
Dirty move by Martin on Tatum in the fourth.
Good. I hope he did. um,
Oh,
People forget that the only time a 1 seed is lost to an 8 seed, it was like 2 or 3 years ago, when Miami went on that run. I think
right,
maybe it was
right.
last year.
That
Miami
was the
beat
Western Conference. No, no, no.
East.
It was, yeah, 2 years
Miami
ago. 2
beat
years ago.
Yeah, Miami was the 8 seed. They beat the 1 seed Bucks in the first round. I
Yes,
don't remember
yes.
the injury situation. That is when they ended up beating the 2 seed Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals before losing to the Heat lost to the Nuggets. So the
Oh,
one
this was
8 seed
last
game,
year. Last year, yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
that was last year. The Heat were an 8 seed, and that was the only time an 8 seed has ever made it out of the first round. So the
Gotcha.
Celtics series, the Celtics aren't going to get tested for another round or two. Like they won by what 30 today, 35 up at one point.
Maybe they
They,
didn't win by that much, but they were like up
they
by
were
that
up.
much.
Yeah,
Maybe the backups came in and stuff.
the Thunder game hasn't started at the time we're recording this, but the Thunder game will be a little more interesting with their age, but like a team that's as established and as used to the playoffs as the Celtics, there's no shot they're going to lose that series. Like
No,
I
zero
yeah,
shot.
so hang the banner for round 1 game 1 is the best record in the NBA, Boston fans, but we'll see once they run into New York or Philly, which I really want to talk about that game. Boston's taking care of business right now, and fine, we'll talk about them in a couple weeks.
I think the West so far is kind of like made sense already. Clippers took care of Dallas, and tonight we have Oklahoma City versus New Orleans, and we also had yesterday. Who else was Western Conference yesterday? Was T Wolves
T Wolves,
Suns icon laughing in Katie's face,
that was
and
the coolest
that,
sports moment, top 5
I
sports moment maybe ever. That video is
maybe
sick.
maybe in Minnesota, I don't know about
Bro,
ever,
Anthony
but
Edwards is the truth. He's the face of
um,
the league already, and he's stuck in
I
Minnesota.
think
Get out of there.
I think this is going to be great series, especially when those kind of moments happen. I feel like I think KD is coming back with like a vintage KD game 2, and like this is this kind of series where it's like 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, like so we'll see. But the East is definitely shaping up to be very interesting, like a lot more interesting. I felt like Cavs
Gritty.
Magic we kind of talked about. I think me and you maybe either on the pod last week or outside how like everybody wants basketball to be Cavs Magic or good defense and everyone's playing hard. And then when the time comes, everyone's like, this game is so boring and nobody was
Yeah.
watching a like 10 a.m.
97,
game on
95 or something. Yeah.
yeah, it was like 10 o'clock West Coast time game. Like people were just like, oh, whatever. And then when it came to the um, Knicks first, the Sixers, I
Oh yeah.
mean, they delivered. Adam Silver, tip your cap, son. You delivered.
I I was in a tough spot for that game because I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago on the pod. I said I want the New York Knicks to come out of the East, and I am wearing a Sixers hat right now. I'm a Sixers sympathizer through and through. Um, Joel Embiid, god damn it, can you stay healthy for more than 5 whole seconds? And also Josh Hart, 30% for 3-point shooter this year, hit 2 of the biggest threes of his life to dagger and finish off that game is extremely wrong side for Sixers fans as usual, but a gritty game, a physical game, a lot of battling. Brunson didn't start out the best, but I am that could be a good series as long as Embiid stays in.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that was like one of probably the most interesting like holy shit versus like holy shit moments like in a while
Yeah.
where it was like that back to back, meaning like when he did that off the backboard dunk,
Yeah.
I literally like stood up and was like holy shit, and then like the crowd like goes crazy, and then like they pan and he's like on the floor and you're like, oh no, like again.
It
And
looks
it was so
bad.
funny. It was so funny because like everybody was tweeting about it. They were like, "Oh, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Embiid still hasn't dunked since he's been back.
Yup.
That was his first dunk since returning from injury." And everyone was like, of course this happens, but we'll see. I mean, Maxi is playing great still. I think
Yeah.
Maxi's a star. That team is not good enough with just Maxi. Or I mean, that team has some role players, but that team is not good enough without Embiid.
I agree.
So
I agree. And I think the Knicks are also like they're not going to give anything away easily. That's not Tom Thibodeau style of ball. But for the sake of basketball, like say what you want about Embiid being like a flopper or free throw merchant, like he is one of the most dominant players when he is on the floor, and basketball is
yeah,
better when he is on the floor. So it's just
I mean,
I is he
I think
Zion?
he's a no, he's not Zion. Like this guy's an MVP. Like Embiid's got an MVP. Like he's been a consistent MVP, consistent MVP runner up or winner the last few years with
Yeah.
Jokic. He's been a playoff performer in the first round.
Yeah, in the first
That's it.
round. Is it? I think they were like the 1 seed last year too, and they smoked Brooklyn. Like, great, 1 seeds always win. 1 seeds always win.
Yeah.
But I
But
don't know
so
if you could call him a
but
playoff
like Zion,
performer.
but like Zion, like he's not Zion. Zion's like getting hurt every game. Like he's out again, like for a long. Like Zion, like I wonder what Zion's longest stretch was. Like I actually don't
Yeah,
know. Like I'm curious what his longest stretch of games are because like we obviously know Embiid's played seasons worth. Like yeah, he has injuries, but like he's played seasons worth. He's been consistent. Like he's an all-star player. But Zion, he's just never playing. So and they'll be very interesting to watch. I think OKC is going to make work of them very
oh,
easily.
easy
So
work, I think. But Embiid,
that's
like, I'd be very curious to see his lifestyle because, like, I didn't really realize this when I was younger, but, um, like, do these athletes really take care of themselves? Like, you assume that they
it,
all
it
do, but
It's
that's not
truly
really the reality.
mind-boggling. It's truly mind-boggling. Like I remember seeing something a few years ago. Like LeBron spends $1 million on his
Yeah,
body, or like maybe more. And you think like as like somebody like me, like holy shit, like $1 million in your body. Like obviously you have to take a step back and realize LeBron's making billions.
yeah,
But like if you were that tier of player, like great player, and you've had the contract, like I understand maybe if you're not like Reeves, Caruso, and or like who's somebody like Brunson in the beginning of their careers where they
yeah,
weren't like getting that money, I understand. But once you've gotten that contract, once you've got money, like how do you not look at LeBron and be like, huh, like he's still dunking, he's still playing well. How does he do it? Like obviously, yeah, like he is one of the greatest of all times, but he's putting the work into his body, paying for it to like preserve himself. Why
yeah,
would you not spend every dollar to keep your body healthy? And like I saw that interview with Wemby. I don't know if you saw where he's like not tempted by like
yeah.
drinking or
Mhm.
drugs or like girls and stuff like that. And like some guys just like ball, and I could see Wemby being like Wemby is someone who probably needs to take care of his body, and I am actually
Right.
shocked at how well his body held up, considering how skinny he was coming into the league.
They said
So,
he purposely didn't do a ton of weight training so the NBA trainers could, like,
so yeah,
get him into
right.
systems like that. So, like, he's, like, what? I don't have no idea how old he is, like, what, like, 19, 21, maybe?
19, 20, yeah, yeah, something like that.
He realizes this, like, way ahead of time, and, like, you have other people like Zion who, like, and you can even go as far to say like Embiid, who are getting by on their natural, like, abilities, but, like, your body's gonna break down if you don't, like, I don't
Right,
know. It's so frustrating to see Embiid go down again, and, like, uh, Wemby's doing it right. They're similar, like, statures of players, like the huge, like,
right.
super tall guys. Like, historically, their bodies don't keep up well. So, like, figure it out. Figure it out. We need you, Embiid. We need you, and it's not going to be fun without him. Again,
Yeah, so yeah, I agree. I think it could be an ugly series without Embiid, but it's still going to. First of all, also before we move on from basketball, the Knicks fans are so fucking delusional. Like, did you see them last night again? Like,
oh
we
yeah,
want
we
Boston,
want
we want
Boston.
fuck Trey Young. Like, I mean, they're the complete opposite of like any fan base I know. Like, one fan base like who like needs playoff success. They win a game, like they're kind of quiet. Like you're kind of hoping, like okay, like
Yeah,
let's just stay on this path. Let's keep winning games. Let's play our game. We just have to hope. They win one game, and it's like super. Like talk about like Super Bowl bound, like
oh,
championship bound. Like they like. I don't know. So that was just my also insane. I saw like all these fans on like Seventh Ave and stuff like going nuts. So that was my. I just thought that was insane.
couldn't
But
carry. Yeah,
yeah, whatever. Outside of fake sports, I did want to update the fans on what else has been going on in my life with real sports. The Washed Up Sluggers softball team.
yes, sir.
And big week this week, doubleheader, swept the doubleheader, 4-0 now, leading the division.
Let's
I
go.
mean, team is playing some great ball. The first game was incredible. 4 runs in a softball game, unbelievable.
Wow.
Nobody scores that little in a game, and it was just pitching was on, defense was on. One of our players, Grady Tui, shout out, broke out of his slump, started getting some hits.
Let's go.
So team's moving well. I like the trajectory of the team. I think this might be the year. Shout out
How
Dave from last week, but this
how
might
long?
be the year.
How long is left in the season? Like, or is this the playoff push? Is it already playoffs? Like, where are we at?
No. So it's a 10-game season.
Okay.
We're 4 games in, so 6 games
Okay.
to go, and just like weekly games. I don't think we have another doubleheader left this season, but just like 1 week, like 1 week of games. So every Wednesday we play.
Is
So
it 10, like, the championship is crowned after week 10, or is it 10 games and then
so so it depends. So this season, since the last season before the summer is like the biggest season. there's 10-game regular season, and it's kind of usually there would be a playoffs, but last season actually messed it up. Surprisingly, I know people might be shocked by this, but we had a lot of rainouts last
Oh,
season.
I thought
So
California was paradise.
and it was honestly like the worst luck of rainouts. Like it was a week, like I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks straight where it was like Monday, Tuesday, no rain. So like other leagues were playing, and then like
Oh,
Wednesday got the rain. So like only we got rain. And
wrong
then
side.
I think it was the week of Valentine's Day landed on a Wednesday. So like Monday, Tuesday was good to play, and then Wednesday was a holiday, so they were like no games. So like again, no games. I mean, so wrong side those couple of weeks of us like not playing, but. So we didn't have playoffs last year. We ended up tying for the best record last season. Got second though because of runs allowed. We had like 3 or 4 more runs allowed.
Cliff
This
Kingsbury off
season,
defense.
yeah, this season, 10 games regular season. If there's a tie for first, there will be a playoffs. If there
Ooh,
is no tie for first, there is no playoffs. So
okay.
hopefully, ideally, we win the season and
Yeah,
don't have to go to the playoffs. But yeah, we're 3 straight. I mean, second place finishes just cannot get over the hump. First season,
let's
first
do it.
season first season we outkicked our coverage.
Hmm.
We definitely did.
Okay.
Got second place. We were the 4th seed going into the playoffs. Top 4 teams made it. We won. Got to the lost in the finals. Second season came up short. We were supposed to. That was supposed to be our coming out party. Third season there was no playoffs, so it was like asterisk. No playoffs, even though we tied for first. This season though, this could be the
Let's
one.
do it. This
This
is
could
the
be the
year.
one.
This
This is
is
the
the year.
this is the year. So that was what was going on in my sophomore real athletics stuff. But what was going on with you? Any new updates this week with work, life, moving, fun?
Bro, no fun at all. I have some work stories for us today. It was a tough week, and there are times when you're just busy and like that's fine. Then you like wrap up at 5, 6 o'clock, whatever, and then you're done. But everything was like kind of going wrong, and the reason why that's like specifically stressful, as like someone who's still fairly new to all of this, I had a ton of escalations where I'm like email like copying like my boss's boss, have these extra meetings to explain like what's going on, like customer satisfaction issues, and no one would respond. Like a lot of people are out of office this week, and I knew like I had like
Vacation or just like a lot of
there
people
was a
were just like busy with
there was
other
like a
stuff?
work conference in Arizona, so like they were like intermittently
Mm,
responding, but like not at all what I needed them to do. And like the reason that's weird is it wasn't like I fell in, like I didn't know what I was doing and I made a mistake. It's I know
sure.
I don't know what I'm doing and I'm trying my best to run around with my hair on fire and ask all these questions and get all this shit figured out. But since nobody's around, like I'm still stuck with the ball in my hand at the end of the day. And it like I don't know, like I some stuff got resolved. I think having people it's another reason like work from home kind of sucks. Like being able to like tap someone on the shoulder when I'm like, dude, like I just cannot figure this out. Like maybe if it's like a senior
Right.
level person that I'm working with that may not even be on the project, like, oh, I've seen this situation before. Like it's a lot easier to do in the office than like at home. So I was just like pulling my hair out all week trying to get a hold of people and it just like was not working.
Did you? So yeah, I definitely first agree on that. Like it's just it is tough. Like when you're in those kind of spots, we kind of mentioned it here and there with like certain people in our interviews, but that is kind of shitty because like not only are you a not next to someone, b you're still very new to this job and like
Yeah.
you're in that like sponge time where like it's still your first year. Maybe it's a little. I know you've been here a little over a year, so like just a little over now, but like there's still things you haven't seen yet,
Yeah.
and
And
I feel like
especially
that's
when it's
tough.
like, yeah, customer satisfaction issues, like contentious
Right.
calls, like things going wrong, not just like busy being busy, like new and negative experiences that I have to figure out by myself.
Yeah, I think, but like also on the other hand, like maybe a spin zone good for growth.
Good
Like
for growth. I got better.
not
I
not not
definitely got
not
better this week.
not like a not in like a growth of like, oh, like we want you to be struggling, but in a growth of like, all right, I know how bad this can get. Like, how do I prevent myself from getting in this spot again, or how do I fix this spot again?
Yeah.
Like kind of looking at it from that perspective.
Those are big takeaways. Like I think I definitely got better and there were a lot of takeaways for this week. Like now it's like Sunday afternoon. I've had a chance to unwind. Like I actually had to work 6 hours today. Having a chance to unwind, there were a lot of really beneficial takeaways. And I'm trying to like go into this week, which will also be a pretty stressful week with those like positive experiences under my belt. But it's just like another thing people don't talk about. Like a senior level person maybe like looks at all these problems that are being had and doesn't really blink an eye at it. Like you've seen these things like day in and day out for like 20 years or more. I have never seen these things, and to have like multiple
Right.
fires going on at once and not have the support I need to be successful. And just because shit happens, people are on vacation, like it's a busy day, like it was just everything hitting at once for me this week. So it was like I'm feeling better about it now, but like you can ask my parents or my girlfriend this week, like I was not a happy camper. So here's to a better week, I guess.
And I assume it's definitely no fun when you're working and work is stressful from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then you're like, great, now I got to fucking start packing my room up even more and get ready to move. Like, that could not have been a worse combination.
I was yeah, I was not a friendly person this week. I was just trying to get shit done. I got a lot done. I spent like 2 grand. I bought a mattress. That mattresses are fucking expensive. I'm trying to
So
pack
expensive.
stuff up.
So expensive.
I cannot fucking wait to move. Like I just need it to be done. I'm close to being ready. I'm very much excited and looking forward to it. But I need something off my plate, and that's the next domino to fall, and I need it right now. So if for my friends listening, I apologize for my attitude this week, and I'm hoping it'll be better. But I'm a little busy lately.
What's the goal this week? Like finish out closet like the cleaning out the closet. Are you got to buy anything else? What's the next goal? Cuz like the week after is you're moving.
Yeah, so it'll be a week from this episode will come out Wednesday. It'll be about a week away when this comes out. I have most of the stuff. I have a bunch of I got to start putting stuff in boxes. Some stuff's already in boxes, some stuff's just in a pile in my basement. So it's time to start packing. So very much in the home stretch of it, but that'll be a lot and it'll probably be like a whole entire Saturday of just throwing shit into boxes, but we'll get it done.
Before we go to our interview, what's one thing? The first thing you're going to do like once everything's in your apartment like that Saturday, like what do you have planned? Bars, like what do you have planned?
Brewers are in town for the Cub. Brewers are in town. We're going to be
Oh,
a couple blocks south of Wrigley Field. The 120 games Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I assume I'll be at least one of those. It's also my friend's birthday that weekend, so we'll see what we'll be doing for that. But we're in Wrigleyville, baby. Like we are going. We're going to tear it up. The first Saturday afternoon I have free, it's going to be awesome, and I need it right now. I need a summer day in the city.
I love that. I love that. All right, moving, getting closer.
Yes,
Work,
sir.
learning experience, Lakers, still feeble, washed up sluggers, back in
Who
action.
who are you rooting for once the Lakers get swept?
Wrong. Go ahead, though.
Who are you eyeing as your second team to root for? Or are you not willing to say that yet? Are you not saying you're dead yet?
I don't know. I'm not a big, like, I don't know. I try not to root for, like, other teams in basketball, like, especially like, sport. Like, I'm not going to root for the Celtics. Like, I'll never root for the
Obviously.
Celtics. I'll never root for the Clippers. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
We could
I don't
get
know
we
yet.
could get in on the
Yeah.
Timberwolves.
Yeah,
We'll
sure.
talk
They're
about
kind
it.
of fun. T-Wolves are fun. Yeah, I like that. I maybe we can get on the T-Wolves, but yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Kicking it over to our interview, Ashes to Amber, Kane Acosta. Very excited for you guys to hear this one. Talk about imposter syndrome, life. He gives us some great advice that I really, really appreciate from him. One of Michael's old friends, someone who I've just met, and very excited for you guys to hear this interview. And
Oh yeah, I got scared, and I got something for ya. Not my heart, not my space, not my street. I wish you'd stay. There's no point without you.
Hope you guys enjoyed that tease to a new song for Ashes to Amber. Lucky enough for you guys, he's in studio now. Kane Acosta, USC graduate of June of 22.
That's
Been
right.
out touring, trying to make it in the music world, and we're happy to have Kane here. He's got over 1 million listeners on Spotify, and now he's going to tell us a little bit more about his life and what's been going on with him. So, Kane, welcome into the studio.
Thanks so much for having me. I do love yapping about everything about being a good old middled 20-year-old, life's crazy.
Exactly. Well, we appreciate you coming on, and we're excited to talk about kind of your journey and where you've been, how everything has been lately with your success. So, tell
Cool.
us a little bit about how you got into the business. And obviously, for listeners who don't know Kane kind of played a lot of instruments growing up in high school and stuff, and then got to college, went to USC. He was in the music school there and did like music admin, business admin side.
Mhm.
And now he's got a, now he's performing as Ashes to Amber and going with that. So how did you get into that? How has it been lately?
So that's a great question. It's a very long question, so I'll try to summarize it as best as I can. But I wanted to do music my whole life. Like, I got a guitar when I was 8 years old, but I was horrible. Did like a little run for president when I was like in 8th grade. Played the guitar, did this thing people liked. I was like, that was cool, but like I was singing some who knows, some Glee stuff, getting the people going. But it wasn't like actual stuff. And then when I was in high school, I started like mixing and mashing songs, like DJ stuff, because I didn't know how to produce. Like, I knew how to write songs on guitar and stuff, but I didn't know how to like record it or release it. So I was like went on like iMovie and was like literally just mashing up songs. 'Cause I also didn't even know how to like make whatever like EDM music on production software. So that was getting me going. I thought I was like the hottest shit since Wonder Bread for some reason, just because like I had no idea about anything. So after I'd graduated and I got to USC, I was like, Steedy Royce is that was the alias of my high school thing. I was like, Steedy Royce is the best. Like, I am the best. Like, I had like this crazy like ego complex. I had the sweatshirts and the hoodies. And then I got there and saw how cracked everybody was, and I got humbled real quick. I was like, oh smokes. I need to like do what I love. And I like DJing. I did it for a year and I played like really cool venues. Like, I opened up for like Blueface and like 24K Golden and like all these like
Wow.
whatever. Like, so I still had like a career, I guess, as like a DJ. And those gigs were ridiculous. Like, it was super cool, but at the end of the day, like, I knew it was true and due to my heart, which was making music. So sophomore year comes rolling around, and I end up meeting this kid and working with this kid literally because of Villa Park Little League, which is the craziest thing because he was born in Korea. And like, this is why the story just gets way too
What
gnarly.
in the world?
Because okay, so pretty much how it goes is like, when I was Steedy Royce, I made a mix-up, mash-up song with this guy Ben Maxwell, who was doing pretty good as a DJ. And then somehow, I don't get how this works, but I was sitting first day of school in this music industry class, and my professor's like, you gotta have to stand up and like shake everybody's hands, and like you need to get used to like networking and stuff, because that's how you're gonna get things done in the industry. So we're all like scared, and we get up, and the first person I shake hands with is that Ben Maxwell dude that I remixed. Like, and I was like, what is going on? Like, that's gnarly. And then we started talking, and then apparently he was like really good friends with this family from Villa Park because he was in the same fraternity with them,
Wow.
the Halals, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
Oh, wow.
He
Wow.
was friends with them. So I was like, what is going on right now? Like, what is actually happening? Like, this is so weird. And I was like, yo, like, you're a producer. Like, we should make music together. So like a year goes by and he's doing his thing. We're really trying to find a time so I can like, even though he makes EDM music, like he has like qualifications to make like an Ashes Amber song, which hadn't existed yet. But I was like, let's do that. And he's like busy one day, and he reverts me to one of his friends, who's now my roommate, who lives like right about yonder, to do the song. But TJ's never like produced like a song like that before, and he didn't want to do anything. So Ben couldn't do the session, and he sent me to this new kid. So like, I don't know, and that's how I met this TJ pretty much, or something. So like, somehow, I don't know how that all connects. I'm sure I'm missing some other pointers in the system,
And
but
that's
that's
all she
how
wrote.
yeah, I guess there's some more things I'm forgetting there, but that was just crazy to me. Anyways, meet TJ. We do our first session. We do like cut like half of the first record, which was like Voodoo Blue, which is like all right, and Iris and all these songs. We did them in like a week, and they're made so bad, but people love them, and I still like them, but they sound like so small. And then I also cut those in iMovie because I like, it was crazy. Like Iris on the distribution platform is a .mp4 or MOV. It's like a movie file.
Oh,
It's not
wow.
even a song file. So that's how remedial we were back in the day. But I guess it doesn't matter. A mood's a mood because the song's ripping right now. So
Right.
that's kind of how I got the inception initially going.
So when do you think you knew you had it? Like, something you love to do. You're in LA, like, as a Midwesterner, I assume everyone is an amateur musician in LA. So
Yeah.
was it college? You said everyone was cracked when you first got there. When was a moment that like you're like, okay, like this could actually work?
That's another interesting question because I didn't really think about it as like something that I wanted to do for a living until I had actually graduated and I was like, oh smokes, like I have to money, like living is a thing that you have to do. So when
Yeah.
there wasn't really like a time where I was like, I got this or like this is going crazy because like I was just like a lot of the time my whole college experience was so like musically based where I was playing shows and going out and meeting people and hanging out with really cool industry folk and like doing all this stuff. So like it didn't seem like something that was like I've got a chance. Like I just it's a weird thing. I don't know. I wasn't really thinking about it that much. But maybe like once I started doing like a couple million streams a month and like had like over 100,000, like I was definitely more aware that like people were listening to my music. It wasn't really just like a hobby thing anymore, I guess, if that answers your question.
Yeah, it's like something I've always found super interesting. Like you're constantly trying to like produce more music and like come up with these like original songs. Like, do you think you're like hot shit? Like, I know you said your older albums, you were like, oh, they sound so small right now, but you still like them. Like that creative process and like continuing like to find a way to get better as a musician is just so like so interesting and weird.
Yeah, it is weird. I think one thing that really helped me with this is that like I don't know if a lot of I'm I'm gonna throw this a hot take out there, but I feel like most musical artists, at least in my field, probably aren't the most athletic group of people. Um, I don't know, could have just said a super hot take. But I think growing up and being like playing a ton of like sports and like little league for 8 years and like all these other things, I think it really like showed me what it was like to have an ego and to also just get squashed by Garrett Mitchell when you think you're super dank and you can throw down a bunt out of nowhere. So like I don't know, when I was coming into USC and like seeing like all these things going on, I was pretty level headed. I didn't really get too hot for my boots because I was used to like seeing like how quickly things change and like being a musician is literally like being a stock like a company because it's just doing
Yeah.
this and like there's so much unpredictability when it comes to something, so I feel not to get too attached to it, even though like I say this and am much so attached to it. Like every day I'm kind of like tweaking out on my freaking analytics, but like I really it's weird. So I don't know, I there was never like a point where I was like too like egoed out on it, I think. I don't know. It feels pretty incredible to finish a show though. You're like, holy smokes.
When do you think there was like a time where you kind of were just like was it like that first time you hit 100,000 streams where you like, well, what's been like one of the most like rewarding moments that's not been as big as people think? Like, yeah, it's great to go play 3 straight shows and it's great to sell out a venue. But like, what's
Yeah.
one thing that may have just been a small minor detail, but to you it was the biggest thing in the world?
This one's cool. This is a good question because there's a lot of there's so many little nitpicks that come across when you're like building a
Yeah.
brand or a business. But this one really sticks out to me was a bit down the line, maybe 2 years ago. I was playing a show at the Echo, and it was like one of the first times I was playing a festival. And I received a DM from this mom saying like my son's like a really big fan. We live super far away, and like we're gonna surprise him for his birthday party to like bring him to the show. Like, are you okay with like meeting him? And I was like, that's so rad. Like that's the sickest thing ever. So like
That's so cool.
I gave him like a little
Yeah.
shout out at the beginning of the show and like we took pictures and like the family was like like so thankful that it was like I was like, it's super chill. Like I'm not like you're not really taking any of like my time. And they were like very much like, thank you so much. Like this means like the world to us. And I was like, no, it's chill. Like here's a shirt. Like get yourself a drink and like enjoy yourself, like kind of thing. So like it was cool. Like that point I realized like there's people that really care. So like that was probably like a very special moment for me.
I really like that. That's a good story.
Yeah.
Thanks for liking it.
Having that kind of influence, like as how old were you when that kid did that?
I was probably like 22, 23.
How old was he?
Like having
Oh, he was like 14 or 15.
Oh, okay. Okay.
because that's like a high, like you're definitely not like peers with the kid, but like that's not that far away in
No,
age.
not at
So like
all. I was
talking about like yeah, as a young person, like what's it like as a 22, 23-year-old and these parents think you're like they're like, "Oh my god, like you're famous,
John
Yeah.
like
Bon
you're this, you're
Jovi.
that." Like
yeah.
how do you deal with that as like your other friends are in like accounting and like stuff like that, like you're in a very unique path compared to like other people I know at least. Like, how do you deal with that side of
That's
things?
another interesting question because I feel like due to the way that I grew my brand and everything, like I'm not as like your typical like well-known person when it comes to music because a lot of those people present themselves on like TikTok and like Reels and like all
Yeah.
these other things where I'm not super focused on there. So I feel like I don't have to like deal with it too much. Like I've literally only been recognized like 3 times in my entire life, just like out and about, because it shows like everybody's there's coming to see you. So like at that point, like you're like, oh, like what up? Like you think like it's like crazy, but then like you go outside, and you're like, oh, nobody knows who I am, so it's like fine.
Right.
So it's never been like it's never been that different than my friends that work at accounting per se, just being out on the streets. So maybe we'll get.
Do you want to be
I
more
don't know. I'm
famous?
kind of like in that world where I'm in the I want to be like Jack Johnson, you know, like somehow nobody ever
Uh-huh.
thinks about him. Dude's got like 15 million monthly listeners. He's just chugging every day. People still listen to him all the time, but nobody's just thinking like, oh yes, Jack Johnson. I wonder how he's doing. Probably has a pad in Hawaii, surfs every day,
Yeah.
and like he can just cruise around, and everybody's like, oh, what up, Jack? They're not just like, oh, not like a gun, but like a camera, and you know, so like it's going crazy. So you know.
I thought I wanted to be famous, like a Kardashian, where you got paparazzi and people stopping
Fuck
you.
that.
I don't think I want that. I don't think I want to be
Nah,
famous
you don't
anymore.
want that. It's not worth it.
So after college, once you got kind of going and you kind of were like, I'm gonna do this full time,
Mhm.
how was that process like? What were the days where, Joey and I talk about all the time. Obviously, we're still in single digits of episodes of this, and we're addicted to the analytics and views and how many people
Mhm.
are listening and engaged listeners. And that's tough for us because we're so, how did you work through that? And how did you kind of like focus on just the work, just the art outside of like the listeners and stuff like that?
This is not gonna be a good answer, but I'm gonna answer it just
That's
truthfully.
okay. We want the
Um,
truth. We want the truth.
Yeah.
I think because I put so many hours in during college and there was so much going on, parties, school, all this other stuff, I was able to just stay fully attached into the work because it hadn't become my life yet. And by the time I had graduated, I had enough steam at least to where the analytics were not massive by any means, but like enough to be like I wasn't too worried about it. It wasn't enough to make a living for sure. It was like 100 or 2,000 monthly listeners, which is like not nearly as much as you would need to like pay bills and stuff. So like I was still worried in that regard, but I still had enough like maybe backup plan to be like maybe I can just get on the road and start playing shows and stuff. So I wasn't addicted to the analytics. But then in November of last year,
Okay.
2022. That's when I signed
2
a
years ago.
distribution. I signed a distribution deal with this company in Sweden, and Spotify's from Sweden. I don't know what they got going on, but the numbers started just going really crazy. So at that point, I kind of was just like, it was out of my hands, kind of thing. Like I wasn't, because before I could do it fully. I think that's the right word. Like track. I did this and I had like this result. And now since it's just
Okay.
so exponential, it's hard for me to like look at it. But now I'm more addicted to the analytics now because now I've seen like how big and fast things can go.
You want
It's
to
kind of
stay that high.
yeah, I mean, yeah, and also like I was so used to like this little inchy kind of thing going on. For
Mm.
once, it just like did that out of nowhere. So I was just like, it was like I had lost control. Like it sucks how much I care about the analytics. Like in a perfect world, I think those who are successful, maybe not by means of numbers or by money, but for successful in what they're doing with their craft, so then they can detach from what's there. But it's so hard to do that because like there's money,
Right.
you have to pay bills, and if you love this thing, like is it a hobby? Is it a work thing that you're gonna do? Is it a career path? So like there's just so many other factors that are floating around that are just making it just like, dude, like I just want this to do well. So like it sucks, but at the same time, if you can somehow remove yourself, then you found hobby nirvana, you know? Because I consider my
Hop,
stuff still.
hop.
I mean, it's interesting because like I have like a weird take on it too. Because like I feel like there's so many things like you can make a career. Like if you somehow figured out a way to like dive for golf balls in a lake and make $100,000 a year, like that's a career. But like I call it hobby nirvana because like I feel like these are like the off-brand kind of career paths. So like they're all
They're
based out of
definitely not what
hobbies.
you plan
Yeah.
for. Yeah, they're all
They're
hobbies in the beginning.
Yeah, so like it's like hobby nirvana. It's like when you played like I don't know, like little league as a kid. Like you worked really hard at it, but it was like
Right.
all you thought about was baseball cards and Ichiro Suzuki, right? That's his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's like all you cared about. And then all of a sudden, like, that was just like the entire world. So you were so in it. It was just like it wasn't a career. You were just firing. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just my take on it. So that's my advice, is somehow reach that nirvana, which I don't think I've ever hit, but I've gotten close. But it's hard. I picked the Pacers, by the way. They're gonna win.
Oh,
That's
Hell
my
yeah.
hot take
okay.
of the
Hot
day.
take. Pacers Bucks game 1. No Giannis
Yeah.
or what?
Bucks.
What was that?
No Giannis.
Oh, Giannis out. Okay. Interesting.
Atenkumpo?
Yep.
Good
Yep.
bet. Yeah.
Good bet. Good bet.
I
Good
know
bet.
so much. I bet you guys don't know who. No, you definitely do. Do you know who Dominic Wilkins is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
The Hawks player.
Let me ask you this: where's the furthest you've gone for a show, and what's been where's the furthest you've gone, and your favorite one?
So the furthest I've
Ooh.
gone, I believe, is Hawaii, because
Oh,
that's just really out there. That's far, and that was a really cool show because like Hawaii's beautiful, and it was nice to be there and see beautiful things and swim and play music and drink mai tais. It was a great time to be
sounds
existing
glorious.
for the 3-day plan, for the
Yes.
3-day span that it was. It was great. My favorite was probably. It's a great question. Probably New York. Just because like the last time I went to New York, I was in 7th grade or 8th grade for my middle school field trip, and like you don't really
Right.
get to explore a city like fully unless you're like able to get a beer there. Cause like
Agreed.
you don't have to drink a beer there, but now you have full options to do whatever you want. Like you could actually technically go to jail. Like there's so many. It's free. It's freedom. You could do whatever you want. It's not a good thing, but like
Interesting take.
it's just like, well, I mean, I feel like life gets real once like prison becomes an option, because like then there's like consequences.
That's
to things.
fair. That's fair.
So like when you're going there, you're like, damn, I can't push over like that sign. Like I could, but I can't, kind of thing. So like there's just like so much going on there. There's big buildings, there's crazy subway systems. I was scared, but it was fine. I adjusted. It's a great city. Don't think I could ever live there.
Yeah, no shot.
People were cool. I ate pastrami sandwiches. I finally got like real, like what's it
Real
called?
New York slice.
Yeah, I ate like lox. 2 of my band members are
Oh.
Jewish, so I was able to get some like Jewish hospitality. It was sweet. I was totally like dialed in. Learned some Hebrew, machore, which is like, "What's up, bro?" It's pretty sick. It was nice. It was like I got like a culture thing. I got like a city thing. I got a cool show thing. So I think it was like my most like taken.
Successful trip.
Yeah. My least favorite was probably going to Denver because I got stuck in a blizzard, and I have an anxiety thing that's pretty gnarly right now. Well, it's getting better. I was gnarly in November, which was when I was on tour, and like it was nighttime and it was blizzarding. We're in this van, like this Sprinter van that we got, and like I was just like, "This is game over. I hate this so much." I was trying to eat beef
This
jerky
game
and like
over.
cry in the back. Like it was not fun. But hey, we made it to Denver across the Rocky Mountains. Sick.
Hell yeah. What's it like interacting with a crowd, like while you're the one on the stage? A lot of us have been in the crowd and like interact with the artist, but what's the artist do to hype up the crowd? What are your secrets?
Have you ever given just like a killer presentation?
Yeah.
It's exactly
yeah.
like that. It's like you're kind of nervous. You're like, "Oh shit, I've been prepping for this for a long time," and then you just get up there and like everything goes out the window. It's just like if you can, it's kind of just like honing in like the perfect like presentation where you're like, "Any questions?" Yes, that is when Thomas Jefferson did that. You kind of just like free form it because like you know the material so well, so it kind of flows. I've been trying to be a little bit more outgoing in a sense, to just like, I mean, obviously I'm like cracking jokes and stuff, but like as the band becomes more collectivied, that's not a word, as the band becomes more unified, as time goes on, I've realized that they're also becoming more interactive. Like we have bits, like during one of the songs, Supremo Gas, it's a great song, by the way, you should listen to it, fans of the pod. There's no bass or keys during like the first verse up into the chorus, so it initially started with my bass player and my keyboard player like playing rock paper scissors against each other while me and the drummer are going at it, so like people like it, but then we're like, how can we like make it better? And then Gushby just turns it into this thing, who's my bass player, where he starts playing it with the crowds. And if it's a packed stadium, if he loses, he just jumps into the crowd of people. He just sends it off the stage. It's amazing to watch. And he's just like crowd surfing. He's like going all over the place, and then he gets back on and just starts
That's
ripping.
crazy.
Super fun. So like,
Do you
I don't
think
know.
you have good crowd work?
I think I have pretty good crowd work. It could be refined to a sense, because like I kind of play it depends on the show, but sometimes I'll play like the coy game, where you kind of like, not like cool tough guy kind of thing, but it's like sometimes like I just like I get if I'm a little antsy before a show and I'm trying to like dial in on like making sure it's like perfect, like all the like everything's like set up perfectly, like I'll be doing a lot of thinking, you know. So it only happens a couple times where I'm like not super like crowd worky. So if we're doing like new songs, or it's like the first time we played in a while. But I think I'm pretty
Are you
decent.
guys throw your pick into the crowd type band after?
Kind of. If people ask for it, like a lot of people like set lists, people like drumsticks, people like, somebody asked for my guitar once, and I was like, no. But
No, no.
no, that'd be gnarly. I can't wait to get to that point. But even if I had a million guitar, if I had a million, it'd be different. That's so many guitars.
Yeah, millions.
But
But I
lot
feel
of
like that would
guitars.
just be like so like it wouldn't be practical. Like be like, oh
that's
yeah,
literally
here.
like,
Like
yeah, like somebody walking in and be like, "May I have your child?" You're like, "Sure." Like, it's like, what?
Could always buy a new
Yeah,
one.
nah.
yeah.
So yeah, I think crowd work's good. I played at this crazy punk festival in San Diego in February, and their crowd work is way different than my crowd work, because my crowd work's cracking jokes. Like I was cracking jokes, everybody was having a good time laughing, and the guys that played before us, like there was a point where they opened up. It was probably like a 3,000 person crowd, and they had this mosh pit. There was probably like 100-person diameter circumference, maybe 200 people, and then he just like walks out into the middle of it, and he's just like standing in, and they start playing, and then he just goes like this, and they just like go into him, and he's just like, he like gets like
Jesus.
just crunched by this huge circle. And I was like, I'm not going in there, bro. They're gonna eat you
No
alive.
shot. No
Because they were a
shot.
gnarly crowd. I mean, we're talking like just your typical punk crowd, you know, mohawks and piercings and such. Tough crowd. Gusby was thinking about doing this jumping bit. I'm like, you're gonna be like the Velociraptor or the little thing in Jurassic Park when they put the cow into, into the thing, you know, and it comes back and there's nothing there. That's what I thought
Right.
was gonna happen if he jumped in. But yeah, good.
So I started listening to you recently,
Thank
and
you.
I'm really enjoying it. For the
Appreciate it.
Chicago listeners out there, the weather's getting better. It's some great summertime
Dude, oh,
vibes. Do
Michigan,
you have
baby.
any? Oh yeah, you got any people that you can attribute, like you're pulling inspiration from any people in specific, or is this just the collective of Kane?
Chicago's on Lake Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure I just want to get fact checked
Yeah.
there earlier. To answer your question, interesting, because like I listened to a lot of alternative music in the 2016s and 2017s of high school, and a lot of these bands like the Kooks and like the 1975 and like Mac DeMarco, like I don't really listen to them a ton now, but I think that shaped a lot, because now I listen to a whole bunch of stuff and it does not sound like anything that I make. Um,
Hmm.
and I think the most inspiration I get is literally from guitar players from like the 60s, like BB King and Roy Buchanan and Jeff Beck and Jimi Hendrix and all those guys, because just the way they went about their daily craft and how much they cared about it. They reached hobby nirvana, that's for sure. They didn't care if they had a job or they didn't. They just did what they did and they loved it. So I think that's probably where I pull a lot of it from, is just like, because foremost, my a lot of people that I work with don't like when I say this, but I say that I'm more so a guitar player over anything that I do, even though I write
Okay.
songs and produce and play bass and do all these other instruments. I feel like I care the most in the world about the guitar. Like if I sit down in my room, I'm not gonna sing, I'm gonna play guitar. Like that's just like, and that's where my heart lies. So I feel like that's why I draw so much inspiration from them. So maybe less in the songwriting aspects of how they wrote their songs, but just about how much they love something and the way they approached and becoming better at it, and how it can like have an impact on you and such. So that is my answer to your question.
That's interesting. I like that. The 60s.
Good time to be
I respect.
existed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You You ever listen to your own music in the car, like you're driving over to the
all the
studio and you're
time.
not like workshopping it, but like a song that's been out for like 2
Oh yeah.
years, you ever just like, "I'm in the mood for
Oh
this"?
yeah, I haven't recently a ton, but like I'll go through phases where I'm like when I get the Spotify Wrapped stuff back, like I'm in the 0.01%. Like I am my top I am my top listener, and the same thing goes
Gotta
for
be your own biggest fan, I love
yeah.
that.
So I definitely listen to my music a lot, but I feel like in a sense, like a lot of people think that's like a weird subject to talk about, but I feel like if I think about like this, if you were to go on like Shark Tank and like talk about your product and like show it off to somebody and like you didn't talk about it, like you listen to it a million times a day, I feel like the love, like you wouldn't make anything with it, because like you gotta love what you're making, and people will see that you love it. You don't have to be a freaking a weirdo about it, like my song's so good, like listen to my song, I love my song. But you can just like when you're super excited about something, it could be anything. I feel like people would be like, dang, I should be excited about that. That whistle was crazy. I should be excited about that, you know?
I feel like it's kind of what you said is how you know, Joey asked you about performing on a stage. It's like a great presentation, and you kind of want to be, it doesn't matter what you're doing, whether it's the podcast or your music, you want to know every single question someone asks. You want to know everything like it's
Yeah.
the back of your hand. So like, I think that'd be normal. I mean, maybe, I don't know if like Drake or someone like that is listening to his own music, but,
Oh, I
like,
guarantee you Drake listens to
but
his
I
own
feel like you
music.
want to know
He's
your
wearing a
brand, and you want
tutu.
to, yeah, right. You want to know your brand, and you want to be able to talk about it if anybody wants to talk about
Exactly, Michael. Well said.
it. Yeah. Um, outside of that, though, what's coming up for you? What do you have next? Where
So
does Ashes to Amber go next from here?
well, right. I'm finishing up an album right now, and for some reason, I've been having a lot of difficulty. In the past, I've been so confident about the decision making process of what I want to do, not just with songs, but how I want to release them, and the way that the album art's gonna look, and where we're going on tour, and like all these other little meta things that go on in the background. And I've been having so much trouble with this first project right now, or this last project, the first single and everything. Like I for some reason can't dial in on what I want for album art and for anything, and it's like stressing me out. So there's an album coming. That's the plan. I don't know exactly when. Maybe in the fall, but I'll have a couple singles coming. Also, I release very untraditionally than a lot of people. Like people like doing single, and then drop an album, and I just like dropping projects because like I don't know. It doesn't work. The business model does not work for today's age, because people with very short attention span, they need one single and they kind of do the thing. It's just like proven. But I like just dropping the whole book because like I don't know. I'm just like, why would would J.K. Rowling just drop a chapter? I mean, it might work. Actually, that might work because people be like, I'm so excited for the next chapter. But like at the same time, I don't know. I like dropping.
I mean, if you're posting them consistently, though, if you're posting a
Yeah,
chapter every 6 months, what's the purpose? Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's
I
kind
know
of my thing. I'd rather just drop a book every year than a chapter every.
right.
But I guess like a chapter every. That's actually a good plan. Maybe I'll just singles. But then there's just more album art. I don't know. It just I don't know. I'm figuring. I'm very undecisive right now. So I'm not stoked on it. But before I was very much just like we're doing this and we're doing it right now. And now I'm kind of like I don't know what I want to do and when. So.
Are you I know you studied music industry and
Mhm.
not just like music composition in school. Are you still very involved, or do you enjoy the process of the business side of it? Or like I feel like artists historically kind of get screwed,
Yeah.
is what people say a lot. So how involved are you in the business process as the artist? Do you enjoy it?
I,
What's that
I've
like?
been hands on since day one. I've never really had a team since the first day. I've had a couple of test trials where I'll bring on maybe like an agent, or I'll bring on like a manager or something, kind of see how it goes. But I've never really found a good working relationship that's worked for me. So I've been on to into everything, rewriting contracts, redoing publishing stuff, and getting in on all the nitty gritties and getting advances and catering and all this stuff, which is a lot of work because you're supposed to have a team help you. But
Yeah.
most recently in November, I hired 2 new managers, and we're doing like another little test trial with this album to see how it goes. But it's just like anything. I really don't think I found somebody that's like identified with me as an artist and how I want to do my career, because these managers today and like a lot of people, they're just purely based out of TikTok and like what's going good on social media. Like that's it. Like you do well and you're gonna get signed, and like that's the whole thing. They just want you to post content, post content, post content. That's just not really who I am. So I feel like I just haven't found that working relationship with somebody that's like, this is they just don't know what to do. They don't. Their whole
Yeah.
thing is like they know how to work social media, but when that's not a thing, it's just like, oh, I don't even know what to do. And there's so many other things to do.
I feel like the contract side of it's got to be pretty brutal, like long documents, like
Yeah.
don't have a law degree. Do you just kind of like figure it out as you go, or like
Well,
where do you learn how to do that?
luckily, the largest contract I've ever had to deal with was only 17 pages long. And since I have nothing else to do with my day, because this is what I do for a living, I just would sit there and grind with a little quilt pen and a candle in the dark and just go through everything and highlight and underline. But
Mark it out.
it's honestly crazy though, because a lot of these companies, they don't expect you to like fire back and like ask for like amendments
Yeah.
on things. So like, whoa. And they usually get scared. They usually also fold easily. Usually you can get somebody up from whatever they want. The music industry is a crazy thing. I think here's two things in my opinion. One, I think a lot of people that work don't see the music industry as something that's like a huge, massive industry, like whether you're in sales or something like that. I feel like it's overlooked because people consume music, but you don't. When you think about the music industry, you don't see it as this huge powerhouse that's making hundreds of billions of dollars a year. Like they're making, not maybe not hundreds of billions, probably actually. I don't know.
Probably a lot. Yeah.
There's so
Yeah.
much money in the music industry. It's actually blowing my mind. So like that's the first thing. Second thing is like these labels that'll sign and whatnot. It's just like they have so much money to blow. Like I know people that have signed for millions of dollars, and then they just don't even care. Like they'll just like sign you for a million. They're like, all right, see ya. And like they get to keep the money. They don't get to keep the songs. It's just like, holy smokes, but you just have that much money to just blow like that? It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
I
would
kind of
think
want to
that I would
go
think
ahead.
that they like kind of how you said that they probably take advantage of a lot of people because they're just like, oh, someone's gonna offer me $10,000. I'll sign it right now to like sign with
Exactly.
them. So they don't really have to argue that much. So it probably throws them off, like when
Yeah,
someone comes back.
totally. Yeah, a lot of artists come from, they're not educated, and the music industry is weird. I don't think you should. The music industry is something. It's like any industry. Like you can get your basic nuts and bolts on it, but you're never gonna get a degree in like how something actually works unless you live and operate in that industry, no matter what industry that is. Therefore, people that have no idea, who maybe their highest degree of education was high school, maybe it was college or something. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how smart you are. If you don't know the industry, you don't know the industry. So when you get offered something, like people that can make something in one day that might be more than most people make in a year, like they're gonna jump at the bit at that. So crazy, like to see like, oh
Oh
my
yeah.
god, $50,000. I've never
Right.
seen that much money at once. So, but usually there's option deals, and like you have to just do an album, and then there's like you have to pay it. Obviously, it's like how it works is it's just pretty much a loan. So like if let's say, what's your guys' band?
Any band?
Yeah, no, just what would you call you guys' band together?
Wrong
Oh,
side.
wrong side. Yeah, sure, wrong side.
The
Yeah.
wrong
Oh yeah.
side? Sick.
Yeah.
Wrong sides or just the like,
We're
would
the
you put
wrong
an S?
siders. Yeah, wrong
The wrong
siders. How
siders?
about
I feel like you gotta do like an S or something.
We got to workshop the
So
name, but that's okay.
so pretty much how it works is it's just like a loan. So like you guys have a great song. I'm gonna give you $100,000 for your stuff. You have 2
We're
years.
rich? Let's
You have
go.
We
two
did it.
years to complete an album for me, on a new album, and then all of your music that you own, I have full rights to right now. And then
Oh
we're
wow.
gonna do a 50-50 split. So every month 50% goes to me, and then 50% goes back to paying off your advance, which is your loan, your $100,000.
It-
So you don't
So you don't get any of
you
it?
get it, but like you get it all up front. So you get your $100,000, but it's not like it's
Uh,
not a non-recoupable amount. You're now I'm the one that's making money because my loan to you is getting paid off, and I'm also making 50% off of what
yeah.
you're doing. And then once it's paid off, now there's times for an option, because like for example, if I pay it off, let's say I signed your catalog for like 5 or 10 years, even though it's paid off, I still get 50%, and now you're only making 50% for your next 10 years. So there's lots of like
Jeez. And they own the full catalog or just this
it
new
just
album?
depends. It could
This
be
new
the album,
theoretical
could
album.
it just the bigger you are as an artist, the more leverage you have in something.
Yeah.
But I know people who are getting absolutely weeded right now by that stuff. But like, so it's good to be a bank. They're pretty much just
Yeah,
banks.
they're a bank. They are a
Record
bank.
labels are banks. I think that's the one biggest thing that I looked at is just like these are literally just loans. These are banks.
Yeah.
Same industry. It's just like a VC for any. It's the same industry, just different product.
Yeah.
Once I started looking,
As
oh,
like
go ahead.
a as like a 22, 24-year-old, like how do you handle that? Like do you get pissed off? Like big, like you said, like everything kind of has a price, and we, like most of our listeners are in their early 20s just figuring out work and
Yeah.
maybe accepted a job. based on a higher salary. How do you how are you confident enough in yourself to maybe say no to something that looks good? And like how do you deal with this kind of frustrating
Yeah,
process as a 20 something?
Good question.
Thank you.
that is a good question. It made my brain think about two different things. The first thing is a tangent, kind of that's surrounding your question still, but I think there's the one thing that's an interesting thing is people get really bit mad at these big corporations and everything being like, you guys have all the money at the top. You're selling everybody short. That's why you have jet airplanes and you're only making artists are usually only making 0.0038 cents per stream. So there's not a lot to offer there, It's hard to make a living.
Yeah.
You would think 100,000 streams is so much. Like if you but it's like $80 or some shit like that. So like
Right.
you really are only making like $4,000. You make about $4,000 if you're lucky for every 1 million streams you do, and 1 million streams
Okay.
is a lot of streams. That's a lot of
It's a
Yeah.
lot of
streams
streams. We're
for
at
someone that
100.
yeah.
Yeah, barely
So
100.
for someone that's doing 10 million streams a month, like you can make a decent living off 40,000 a month. Like that's crazy. But people think like that's like attainable, but that's 10 million streams per month. Like that is a huge figure to think about.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to go back to the other side of things, but now we're enabled in this place where there's these corporations like Spotify and such. They've created a platform for you to make music so easily available now. Like, I don't think I would be successful if there wasn't something you could just go on your phone and listen to my music instead of going to the record
Right.
store and buying an album and stuff. Like, I think it was way harder to make it when you're in the 70s and stuff. So like, I don't know how I want to feel about it because like there's these new opportunities that are created, but obviously because of those opportunities being created, there's more hands in the pot here. It's way hard.
Yeah.
Like if you could somehow make your own distribution channel and do all these other things, I'm sure you'd get bought out and then that wouldn't exist anymore.
Right.
How I handle it is like a 20-year-old saying like all these. Can you rephrase? Can you summarize your question one more time, just like in like so I can hit the right point here for you?
Yeah, like you're a 20-year-old, you've never made any money before,
Mhm.
and now you have these corporations that offer you these weird deals
Mhm.
where they're taking most of the money. Like how do you deal with that as a young person who really loves what they do and like you want to make a living off of it, but you got Big Brother looking out taking money from the cookie
Right.
jar?
I mean, it's different for every single person. Some people are happy taking their money, some people are not, and I think a lot of them just turn to TikTok or something and they build their brands elsewhere because like you can still get distribution, but you're only just paying like $50 a year to just use their services or something. They'll reach out and try to sign you, but they don't have to. Or record labels. I mean, me personally, I think you just got to be wary. There's one thing that I heard. I think it was from Brent Faiyaz or his manager that I thought was very well said. But when it comes to these contracts and being young and all this stuff, is that it doesn't matter how much the number is, doesn't matter how much they're offering or what it is. It's all about the term. And I think
Okay.
I think that's the most important thing because like if you're locked into something for 5 years, even that's short. Like that's short compared to a lot of these
Yeah.
things today, but that's still a long time. So if you're getting a lot of things in a 15, 20 year, like even if it's 15, 20 years for like $1 million or $1 million plus, I still don't think that's worth it. Cause like that's just, you'll be able to pay that off in maybe 5 or 6 years. And then you have the next 7 years to only make 50% of what you could have if you're already building your
Right.
brand off of TikTok and stuff. I don't know. It's a case by case basis. And I think there's a lot of just like, I don't know. It's a rabbit hole. It's a straight up rabbit hole.
Let me.
It reminds me of sports
Yeah.
contracts.
Very similar.
Like players want to take shorter contracts so they have ability to sign for more to move to a different
Right.
team. So
It's an
that's
industry, man.
a
It's
good
the
way to
same.
put it.
It's
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
operates on the same basis.
How do
Mhm.
you think, I mean, like from your side of things, I don't really think about this often, but I have this thought when I'm like listening to music. So I don't, I use Apple, for example, and I don't buy songs anymore. You used to go to the iTunes
Right.
store and it'd be like a 99
Yeah.
cents, $1.99.
Mhm.
Now, and like even now on like even so on, like I very rarely like add songs to like playlists. It's like my recent searches, if I listen to the Killers yesterday and I'm going to listen again, I'm just going to go to my searches and listen to the Killers again today. I'm not going to add anything. So how has it been different from your side, like without the purchases per singles? It's just streams. Like Do you like that model better? Like, do you like that how people were able to buy that better, or do you think this is beneficial for younger people?
I don't know. That's another great question that I just don't have the answer to. There's just so much there because people still there's still services that offer buying music. Like there's still
Right,
an
right. You don't
iTunes.
have to have Apple Music or Spotify Plus, like
Yeah.
premium. Like you don't have to have that. But I know I
People
would say
can rip
majority of
songs
people
from
do.
yeah, majority are streaming obviously, and I just think that obviously the numbers are super low that you're receiving.
Right.
What would that number be? 0.0038 with 1/1000, 38,000. Like what is that
For
of a
what?
dollar? If it's 0.0038 of a
1,000?
dollar,
That
Zero zero zero,
like 10
like
thousands,
tenth of a dollar.
3
Three
zeros.
tenths.
so you receive or maybe it's tenth of a penny. I don't even know. If you're receiving that low of a number
Yeah.
per stream, like it
They
obviously
broke
is just
us.
like it's tough. But at the same time, like now there's like an algorithm that exists. They can now get your music to other people, so it's like you got to pay to play kind of thing, you know. But like I feel like a lot of people would just disagree with me, and maybe I feel differently about it because like I have had success on Spotify to a certain degree. So like maybe I feel differently about it subconsciously. I don't know because like I'm sure like if I wasn't doing good, I'd be like, I feel like a lot of people play like the card that like I'm not going well, then screw you guys kind of thing until things go well, and then they're like,
Yeah.
oh, it's just kidding. Like I feel like it's all a situation of what's going on, and that all goes back to what I said earlier about the hobby Nirvana thing. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just like I kind of want to just delete. I kind of want to when I short story here. When I was in college, sophomore year, I was in my fraternity house. Good stuff. Lot of things going on, and I think I might have ADHD. I got tested for it, but who knows? Maybe that's why we're on this tangent right now. And I had lost 3 phones in a week. I bought a phone, lost it, but like I was in
That's
Oh my
gross.
god.
I was in college, and so my parents had to buy the second and third phone. And by the third time, I was like, they're like, no, dude, like we're not getting another phone. And so
Get it
No
I bought a
together.
shit.
flip phone. I bought a flip phone, and I was getting back to. Well, they thought I was like on drugs or something because I was pledging. I had green hair. Like it's
Oh.
like I had like all this. I had like super pale. They're like thinking I'm on. Obviously, I was scot free. Um, but who loses 3 phones? I don't know. Anyway, so I had my flip phone, and it was a beautiful time, and I kind of want to do that again, just so I'm not attached to
Just
these numbers
detach from
anymore.
like yeah.
Oh, yeah. It'd be so
And
nice. It's so impractical,
it
though.
was not very fun when I was trying to go on dates because I'm just like
Sorry,
how
honey, 1 second.
how uh how like it's just you have to do you
Yeah.
have to take like
Eight,
Yep.
eight. You have to get it 3 times.
I'm like how are you takes 5 minutes and beep comes back. I'm like oh and you have to like grind in again, but it was nice. Like I don't know. I could delete things. I just feel like there's a lot of time spent. That's why I've been enjoying going outside more too, playing a lot of golf and surfing and being outdoors and just removing myself from the phone. I just feel like there's outside of just social media and all that other stigma that comes around from just being glued to your phone. When a lot of your business
Yeah.
comes from your phone, it just gives you more things to look at. Therefore, I'm starting to push into the world where I think I'm gonna get out of it. And it's weird because like I think it's getting to a point where now people want to get rid of them. Like that's like the thing. Like there's a lot of people that are like, I'm on my phone too much. I want to stop, but you can't. Like there's like you'll catch yourself just like sitting on a sidewalk and you just kind of like open up Instagram. You're like, why did I do that? And then it's so like I don't know. And like it's getting to a point like because I want to remove from like Spotify analytics and stuff. So like I deleted my Spotify for Artists app just to see
Wow.
just to do it like a little tester like to see how my day would go. And the amount of times that I was like, what am I supposed to do right now? Because like my brain actually just wanted to go look at like analytics for like
Yeah.
35 minutes. So my brain's like, I have 35 minutes to like I don't know, play guitar, do a push up. Like it was weird to like it felt weird to have time pushed towards something else, which obviously shows a problem. So obviously I downloaded it
Yeah.
back because I'm addicted to that. But we're gonna figure it out, you know.
The first step to solving a problem is identifying you have a problem. So
Yeah.
you're better than most people.
Hey, I mean,
Definitely.
it's tough.
My last question before we wrap up here was going to be, what's your one goal for 2024 to get better, or like something that you strive to do this year?
I actually have a few, but if you want just one, I can give you just one.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
1, 2, however many you want to give us.
I have them written down. It's bad that I have them written down. I don't have them
No, that's good. That's good. That's
No, I think
converted
that's
to memory
good.
yet, but I have them when I look at it. But my main goals are associated with I want to be able to drive successfully again. I'd like to sell a home. I'd like to be able to do 50 push-ups and 25 pull-ups, and I'd like to have more smiles on my face. Those are my
Those are
4.
good. Those are good.
When you say drive,
Yeah,
when you say
what?
drive successfully, do you mean a car or a golf
No,
club?
no. I about 2 years ago I was driving on the freeway and I had a gnarly panic attack where I had passed out and like
Oh,
there's
shit.
paramedics and stuff like trying to open up the door and like it was this whole ordeal, a lot of trauma and
Wow.
whatnot, but it caused this thing. I'd never experienced anxiety or panic attacks before in my entire life. I was just a very happy-go-lucky guy. It's like, oh, that's why all my therapists are like, what happened in your childhood? I'm like, bro, there's like nothing. Like I think something gnarly just happened like at that point. And what it did was I was fine for like 2 months after it. But the more I started seeing like therapists and stuff, the more they're like, oh, this is like panic attacks. Like you can experience panic attacks. And it made it worse. Cause then I was like, oh, smokes. Every time I got into a car, I would like stop breathing and like start like losing control and like I'd get pins and needles in my hands. So like for the past 2 years, I've been like fighting this battle to just like drive a car again. But it goes into everything. Like I could just be at the grocery store and start freaking out. It usually just hits when I'm like
Damn.
by
Wow.
myself and like I feel like I'm like claustrophobic and there's like no escape. So like that's when that usually happens. But once I can get in the car again and really rip it around town, I feel like it'll be pretty overpowered. I feel like I'll be back to normal. So that's what that is.
Yes, sir.
All right. Those are good goals. Good goals. Good personal
Yeah.
goals. All right, I like that.
Yeah.
What
And then
what's your question? What's your question for us? I know you brought
Your-
it up on Thursday. I think this is good for the topics of the podcast.
yeah, because we're big sports guys over here. We love kicking footballs.
Yeah.
My sports question
Hell
of the
yeah.
day is actually I had some advice first for you guys that I have written
Oh,
in my
let's hear it.
I have a
Yes,
I have a
please.
Oh,
little
let's
book.
do it.
I
Let's
have a
do it.
little book
I have
that
one
I
of those
keep
for work.
all my guitar stuff. And this man from Japan told me this once, and it sounds super silly, but if you have it written down and you actually push yourself to look at it every day, it's pretty helpful when it comes to your business and all your goals. But the first one is don't worry, which is hard to do. The second one is don't compare yourself to anything else that's going on. Just focus on yourself. You can't expect things too fast, and you need to be kind to yourself. And if you can dial in on all 4 of
Wow.
those things, you'll be very happy doing your hobby of
I
choice.
don't think I hit a single one of those this week. I needed
Wow.
that. I needed that
That
bad.
was good.
I needed that
Good
bad.
It's
positivity.
very helpful. I get so overwhelmed playing guitar and
Yes.
seeing how good everybody is and all these other people I compare myself to. So I'll kind of just look at that to remind myself, like, hey, I'm doing this because I like it, not because anything else. Like I like doing this. That's what it is.
I like that. That's
Thank you.
good positivity. I like that. I'm glad that was shared. I'm
I
glad that
needed
was
that
shared.
bad.
Yep. Appreciate the appreciation. Now back to my tiding question of the day. So obviously, as you know, I played baseball for 8 years and tried to play football, but Jason Sanders was our kicker. So like, what am I gonna do?
Go Dolphins. Go Dolphins. Kicker for the Dolphins.
kick for
Villa
that guy?
Park
Yeah.
alum.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I got into golf and played lots of golf my whole life, yada yada yada. So obviously I'm biased in the way I'm gonna say this because I think golf is excellent and that's the only thing I'm really connected to. But my hot take of the day is the Pacers are gonna win the NBA championship, and Tiger Woods is the greatest athlete. Maybe not athlete, but the greatest. Why is there balloons?
Whoa! What did that do? How did you do that?
Is it like FaceTime?
I don't know,
Why
but
is it all-
this is insanely sick.
What is going on?
And that Tiger Woods is one of the best at his craft compared to through all sports. I guess that would be greatest athlete of all time, but maybe not by physical, throws of football or something. Now, please share your thoughts.
Joey, go ahead. Go ahead.
The Pacers will win the NBA championship if they can consistently shoot the three. They have some of the highest pace in the league. They will beat the Bucks. Giannis is hurt. They're behind the 8 ball. The Bucks are done. So they're going to win. They would go on to in the second round. They have an easy path to the Eastern Conference Finals. Celtics always choke.
Is that the 3-6 Pacers 3-6?
I believe so.
Okay.
So I think they'd play like Sixers, whoever they fucking play.
Sixers Knicks.
Yeah, that's gonna be good versus Swamp
Damn, I
Dragon.
gotta go back in my other case. Yeah, I like the Pacers a lot. They need to hit their shots. I respect it, and I can get behind the Pacers.
I appreciate that. Now
And
talk
the
about
Tiger
Tiger
Woods part?
now.
Tiger
Disagree,
Woods.
please.
I saw a Barstool clip the other day that it was over a span of multiple seasons, like multiple years. Tiger was a combined I think 150 under par over that time frame.
Nuts.
The next closest person was 251 strokes back.
Wow.
200.
So what would be like
he had the highest.
what would be like a comparable to like a Kobe or like a Michael Jordan type thing, or like
I mean,
fucking Babe Ruth?
I think Tiger is definitely like he had probably the greatest run for a golfer in history in
But
his
not the
prime. I mean,
sports history.
I would think. I mean, still like he's 24 straight cuts
Masters
made at the
cuts.
Masters. Like
Masters
still,
cuts.
so like that's
Yeah.
incredible. And then he was dominant. He's still behind that Jack though, right? Like all time.
In majors, yeah.
I mean, that's when you start getting into all this other stuff where it's like that was in the
Right, but
freaking
Then it's
60s.
there's probably like 5
So
So I
people
would say
playing out there with wooden
he's
clubs.
definitely. I mean, he's definitely the one of the greatest skilled golfers. I definitely would agree. I think it kind of
He's a killer.
He's a
He's a cold-blooded killer.
I mean, he was always a guy where I think he kind of had like that Kobe, LeBron, MJ mentality where like even if you gave him
LeBron doesn't have that.
even if he does. Even if you get fun
What'd you
fact,
say?
I'll talk
What'd you
about
say?
it in clutch moment of the week. I'll say my clutch moment of the week to Joey. He'll know it later. But my point with
have LeBron beef.
Tiger is that he just needed a chance. You gave him like an inch on Sunday, and he
Oh,
took
yeah,
it. And it was
yeah,
his day.
that's
And he's definitely probably,
said.
if not the greatest, probably a top 3 greatest killers in sports.
Yeah.
Okay,
OJ
I'll
obviously up there, but outside of him, like other great ones.
who?
OJ
Was that a
top
joke?
killer.
Because because
Yeah.
the glove. Oh, okay. Yeah, I agree. I just think due to the fact of I don't even know. I think he there's obviously names when it comes to sports, but I think like there's got to be a way to like break it down and be like this person in
It's just so
basketball
tough.
had
It's so
this
tough.
much success at what they did for this period of time, and this person in baseball did that in soccer and whatever. And I'm sure
It's
they'd all be
also
pretty
tough
comparable.
because like golf
Tigers
is
would go.
so individual. Golf is tough because it's so individual versus like LeBron. Like let's say basketball, for example. Like if you don't have a championship, you can still be like an MVP or you were like all NBA, first team, second team. Like there's no all-stars in golf. There's no like MVP of the season. Like it's just kind of different. So it's tough for like all accolades, but I would say genuine skill, I would say Tiger is in the conversation.
Oh yeah.
I'll accept your answer.
Yeah. Good.
Good. Can I give my clutch moment of the week before we get out of here?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Hell yeah.
Shoot. Never mind. I was thinking I haven't watched a single lick of sports this week.
No,
So-
clutch moment of the week. It could be anything. It can be sports. It can be like, oh, a meeting got canceled. Oh, my buddy helped me pick up. Like it can be anything in your life. Like whatever you want the clutch moment to be.
Oh my gosh. Clutch moment of the week. I'm going to bed, right? Holy smokes, I'm hungry. Midnight snack. Gotta get one. Open cabinet. No tortillas. I was like, no. What am I supposed to make my quesadilla with? Open the fridge. I put them in the fridge. It was insane. Made my quesadilla. Clutch moment of the week.
Clutch. That's clutch.
Yes, it was.
That's clutch. Wow, I love that. I love that. Kane, thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
We really liked having you on. For anybody listening, listen to that beginning for a tease in the Kane's new album, one of his singles in his album, and listen to Ashes and Amber. He's great. He's on Spotify. He's on Apple. What else are you on? Any other platforms?
I'm on I think 112 platforms in 186 countries or something like that. So
Okay,
it's
so
gotta be there
if
somewhere.
you're in the world, listen to Ashes to Amber. Kane, we appreciate having you on. And now we're gonna kick it to ourselves back in the studio for a clutch moment of the week. Thank you, Kane.
Clutch.
Ashes to Amber.
Course,
Listen to
bye.
him.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, Kane. I hope you enjoyed his tease for his new single that's going to be coming out soon. Our clutch moment of the week is brought to you by Shore Metals, metal supplier since 1970, serving Southern California. Big enough to serve you and small enough to know you. See Stan, he'll help you out. Joey, who's your clutch moment of the week?
Before I go into the clutch moment of the week, it's related to the Bulls, and I have to talk about the Bulls. Last week on the episode, I said I was very much hoping that they would lose the first play-in game and just put us to rest and hope that that would force them into some sort of move. I ended up once again on the wrong side with the exact amount of hopium needed after game 1 to get invested in game 2. I could probably count on both hands the amount of Bulls games I've really made a point to sit down and watch this year. The second play-in game was one of them. All the boys, we got together, we went to the local sports bar that we do trivia at, and we watched the Bulls game, or at least the first quarter of it, until it sucked. I hate the Bulls, and I hate Jerry Reinsdorf. That being said, Kobe White, clutch moment of the week, career high in a play-in game. Wrong side, stats don't count in the play-in game, so sorry for Kobe White. He's the only bright spot. He's the only thing that we have figured out. Io has also shown flashes. Hopefully we can get more out of him, but Kobe White is the man. He made the season fun in a feeble franchise and a feeble team. So Kobe White is my clutch moment of the week.
Love that. My clutch moment of the week goes out to Kane Acosta. Obviously, his interview we just had was great, but I felt like the advice he gave us was incredibly clutch. It kind of hit Joey and I,
Yes.
especially where we're still doing this. We're still very new and learning. It was nice to hear that, and we appreciated hearing how, don't get too attached. And, I wrote them down. It was, don't worry about certain things. Don't compare yourself to others. Don't expect to be a quick success. Things take time, and be kind to yourself. So I really did appreciate that. And shout out Kane for being clutch and giving us with some appreciation. Now we're going to kick it.
Needed
Oh,
that. It's been no, want to give more props
Oh,
to
okay,
Kane.
yeah.
Check out his music if you haven't already. That advice, I have had a rough week in the work front, in the moving front, and in the podcast front. Just a lot of frustration this week. And that advice from someone who I've just met this week, it hit home. And I appreciate his interview, and I appreciate that advice. So thanks again, Kane.
Shout out Kane. Shout out Kobe White. Now to Outside the Line.
Wrapping up with Outside the Line, starting out with Tone Deaf Person of the Week, and man, do I have a good one this week. Michael, who's your Tone Deaf Person of the Week?
So realistically, I didn't have a ton. I felt like my team was kind of on top of it this week. Some employees were on top of it this week. My teams, for the most part, they were just bad, not like tone deaf. So I don't really think there was like a way to bring them in. But my tone deaf person of the week is ex-Ohio State basketball player Roddy Gill Jr., who obviously never cared about the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry, because today I saw that he was at the Michigan spring game, the football spring game, and was on the sideline. So never cared about the rivalry, isn't gonna care about the rivalry, and I hope if he does go there, he's booed endlessly. I hope he doesn't hear the end of it from our fans. So fuck Roddy Gale, tone deaf, never understood the rivalry.
Tone deaf, fuck that guy. He's dead to me. They're also
I think
like,
he's dead to me.
they fired their
Doesn't go
coach.
there.
They have nobody. Even if he doesn't, there's no point in doing the visit at all. Even like their program is decimated. Like I don't know who they've hired, but like they just lost their coach. Their
Did
team
Juwan
sucks.
Howard? Did Juwan Howard get fired?
I believe they mutually parted ways at the end of the season.
Okay.
But they had like Hunter Dickinson leave like 2 years ago. Like people are walking out the door, definitely not into the door. So even just like tone deaf to just open yourself up to dumbass podcasters like ourselves to tear them apart. Because like
and he was probably hanging out with also another tone deaf person, Coach Alford, the running back.
Yes.
So tone deaf as well.
Yeah,
both of them were probably hanging out, laughing and spinning and doing the chop and being.
They
fucking,
gave them the information for Ohio State.
Fuck them, yeah. Fuck them. So that's my tone deaf person of the week. Who's yours?
I am opening myself up to some scrutiny here, Michael. On Thursday, I believe it was like Friday morning at 2 a.m., Taylor Swift, I don't know if you've heard of her, she dropped a double
Familiar.
album.
I'm familiar.
32 songs for one of the most successful women, one of the women, hottest streak of the year. And once again, her fans showed their tone deafness to me. I know there was like a concert video like a couple months ago of a girl like
Oh,
sitting in the parking
yeah,
lot, like
that I've seen that
like
one.
like I truly can't watch those. Now you got people crying to the album now, and like Taylor Swift is like a fine music. Like I am a fan of Taylor Swift. She is extremely successful, good at what she does, solid musician. Has done like a number of like different genres and like made some pivots that are impressive. But her fan base, like her music is not like spiritually groundbreaking. This, that, and the other thing. Like she's got some bangers, no lie. But her fans kind of scare me. So I don't know if I'm tone deaf or if they're tone deaf. I'd like to think it's them, but
I
that was
slowly
big for this
I
week.
think I kind of like changed my tune on Taylor Swift a little in a sense of I actually think she's a very talented person. I think
Mhm.
especially someone from like country to pop to now she's a world super she's virtually on like a Michael Jackson type tour where she's selling out consecutive days and they're million she's making millions of dollars and Meg really does like Taylor Swift, so I hear her and she was listening to the album and she likes it, but like she's into it. But I feel like lately, like Taylor Swift has gotten a lot of heat, just like, oh, I don't like her or I do like her, but from like outside reasons, meaning like everybody was so upset
Yes.
about her and Travis, like on she was always on TV, let's say. He
Yeah.
wasn't begging for the camera. You know, it was Fox or CBS. They were putting on, so everybody was getting annoyed, but it wasn't really Taylor's fault. Taylor puts out music. Everyone can like the music, enjoy it, but like people are
Yeah.
crying or screaming and like, oh my God, this, which is great. I understand. Maybe like I like some music, but like I've never been a big like even like Drake or someone like that. Like
Yeah.
big,
I've
big
never
names.
been like
I've never
obsessed with an artist. Yeah.
I've kind of like accidentally been awake for like, oh, a new album dropped. Like, yeah, I'll listen to it. And it's like, it's good. Like, I remember when Morgan Wallen dropped a couple songs, like, that was like cool. I like him. But like, there's like, and like, I think I was up for like a Khalid album once in high school, but like, I'm not a big like stay up. So maybe that's not my interest. But
Yeah.
like, their fans, I feel like also are like the CBS Fox, where like people hate Taylor Swift now because of these people. And like, I don't
Yeah.
know if you saw, but the Swifties were like doxing each other and like canceling each other because some people
I
were saying
didn't.
like on Thursday night, like, oh, I found some songs they leaked on this site or whatever it was. And other Swifties were getting mad, like, F you, like, don't leak the music, like, let her tell her story. And they were like attacking each other. And I was just
That's
like,
awesome.
okay, like, you know, maybe that's why I don't think it's like we're tone deaf. I mean, I think we're definitely tone deaf, like not be like addicted to her, but I think she's like, I just don't get it. Like, I feel like her fans like it, and
It's
like her music is good. And like, I actually heard a couple
yeah.
of the songs and I like those lyrics of Travis and like, you know, the trophy. I thought that was funny. I just thought
The
that
Kim
like,
roast. Gotta give props to the Kim Kardashian roast.
oh yeah, the Kim. So yeah, so she had her moments. There were some good lines. I just like I see people like
She's solid.
screaming and like I saw people doing like the Notebook, like they were taking notes and like breaking down line by line. And I was like, whoa, like I watch a lot of film, but like I'm not taking notes on like how Dak plays. Like I know what I'm talking about, so I'm not like, oh, did you see the way he took a read on this third and eight? You know, I don't do that. So yeah, I don't know. They're intense. Those fans.
They're intense. Maybe I need to find a hobby like that, but they scare me.
I
That
mean,
was big
maybe
all
it's
over the
good that
timeline
they
this
like
week.
care so much and they're like so happy when that happens. Like my hobbies of like sports, like my team comes on and like I just stress. I'm upset
That's
the whole
fair.
time. Like
I
maybe,
hate Sundays and during football season.
yeah. So maybe they
Yeah.
actually like spin zone. Maybe weird are the tone deaf ones and they're like happy with their
Wow.
lives and they're
I know
excited
we
about that
joked about
stuff.
getting into art because sports sucks.
Yeah.
Maybe we're onto something. Maybe they're onto something.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like they look so happy and like it makes their day. Meanwhile, like the Lakers gonna play tonight and like I'm already nervous. Like I don't want to lose. Like I've been thinking about it all morning. So I
Yeah.
don't know. That this might yeah, good tone deaf though. I think that yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're happy. Maybe they've been doing life the right way.
All right. Solid spin. I
Interesting.
learned something this weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
solid spin. Um, yeah, interesting, interesting. Yeah, I mean, other than that, I know basketball is wrapping up here for the weekend. About game ones and two, all game ones should be done by this. So we'll kind of touch on that in the beginning. We'll hit on that, and you guys have heard our basketball recap. But looking ahead, Joey and I, big week coming, I believe. Joey's moving out. I got my
One more
last
week.
week,
So 2 weeks.
2 week.
2 weeks they'll move out. It'll be like 1 week once the episode drops.
Yeah, 1 week when the episode drops, and big week of swiping cards and buying things. She's an adult now. And me, I got one more week of busy season, really. 2 more weeks of busy season. So
Let's finish it out.
let's finish strong. But we're gonna finish strong. Joey and I are trying to do better things. Like Kane said, keep positive, don't compare. We're gonna keep working on everything, and we're gonna get better at a lot of things. But looking ahead, what's your right side? What's your wrong side for what has happened this past week and what's gonna happen?
Wrong side, real busy at work lately. We have some customer satisfaction issues. We have just busy, probably busiest I've been in my 2 years working there so far. So that sucks. I don't really see that ending for another couple weeks. Moving is stressful. Podcasting is busy, and that part is honestly a good break. But wrong side, I am very overwhelmed for the next couple weeks and really looking forward to the move and getting that off my plate. Right side, really got to stay focused on this through a tough week coming up. By the time this drops Wednesday, we will be 24 hours away from Caleb Williams as a Chicago Bear. And it's been quite the offseason. Fields wasn't traded until mid-March. Fields is my boy. Caleb Williams painted his nails. It's been all over the place, but Thursday is Caleb Williams Day and hopefully Rome Odunze Day. I'm looking forward to football being back. So that's my right side coming up.
Do you and your friends have anything planned? Are you guys getting excited? I mean, I feel like the Fields pick when we were in college kind of happened by accident. Like there were some trade.
Yeah, that was unexpected.
It was when you traded up and then the situation arise, it happened. But this one seems like the first time. I mean, it's number one. It's 1-1. What does the gang have going on? You guys got plans? Are you guys watching the draft somewhere?
We'll have something going on. It's probably not going to be anything too crazy. I usually go to the office on Thursdays, so I may not go to the office, so I'm ready to go for the draft. We'll probably just be somewhere around here, but we'll definitely do something. This is a huge day.
Detroit?
Is a huge day.
Where is it this year? Detroit, the draft?
I honestly don't know.
I think that's right, Detroit. I think that's right. Interesting. Okay, and you're hoping for right now, it'll be out, so you can't fix this. You're hoping for Caleb and Rome. That's who you're
I'm hoping for Caleb and Rome. That's the dream. I don't want to trade up for Marv. I don't want to trade up maybe at all. But we'll talk about that a little later. We'll be dropping our mock drafts this week before the draft, and we'll talk about it a little bit. But football's about to be back. Football being back is back.
Interesting.
Almost.
Okay. My wrong side, I'm trying to still think of what right side could be. My wrong side is definitely I think I've kind of reached a breaking point in Angels baseball in a sense. I know we're kind of getting
what
to the
game
end
is
of this
it?
episode. It's we're 9-11. I think we're 20 games in, I want to say. So they're about to play. They're about to finish out the series.
9-11 is the breaking point.
They're about to finish the series with 9-11. They're about to finish the series with Cincinnati this weekend. They have a game on Saturday today and another game on Sunday before they head back to Anaheim. And I have decided that I need to start watching them either a different way because I put too much stock in them and I'm so up and down with them. We're back, it's over. We're back, it's over.
Yeah.
And I just don't get it. It's been the same thing for 10 years. And I'm tired of fans trying to give grace to certain players and trying to give excuses. I really don't think there's excuses. And I think that the team is I say it all the time. I love my teams. I love the Angels. I love the Lakers. I love the Cowboys. I love Ohio State. I would trade a lot for some Angels success.
I saw a quote about the Bulls. The headline was that the Bulls organization broke up with their diehard fans a long time ago. And I think that could also probably be said about the Angels.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's top to bottom a disaster. I posted an emergency press conference after a game. I think they were 6-5 at that point on our Twitter. But it's just ridiculous. Everybody's a joke top to bottom. I think that it's very tough as a fan to see no improvement. And I think I realize I obviously joke about it, but I know we're not going to win the World Series this year. I know we're not going to be maybe the best team in the American League. My issue is that there's no growth and no effectiveness to try to win. And we give young guys a shot, and I have no problem if young guys are struggling at the plate or they make an error. That's baseball. It does suck, but that's baseball. My issue is when there's a lot of mental mistakes, whether it's on the base paths or whether it's fielding or you make a bad throw and you don't, you not follow your throw, and things are you can control, like attitude and effort, like things you can control.
Yeah. Mhm.
That shit like pisses me off. So when you're making mistake after mistake, like I'm gonna give you no grace. And I felt like the coaching staff was like more about that this year and the way they've talked, but I haven't seen punishment. And I think there's still an issue to be had there. So my wrong side is just like 9-11, 9-11. The Angels are right now. They've been like win, loss, and now we're 2 games under. And like, who knows if we get back to 500 this season. So just wrong side, like doing that way. So that's been kind of shitty. My right side though is that the Lakers playoffs, they've made the playoffs. They're going to be playing this week and I get to watch today. My part of my wrong side, I think I mentioned last week, was that I wasn't going to be able to watch Tuesday's game because I was in the office.
Yeah.
And luckily I watched, I think the last 3 minutes I pulled in home from the office, which was great. But right side, I get to watch today. I get to watch the rest of the week. Hopefully, like work is going to be busy this week because I'm filing my clients. But right side, I do get to watch, and I'm excited. I believe it. Nick Wright, also right side, for giving me hope that the Lakers can do this. I still don't think.
I don't think it makes sense.
I don't think anybody cares, and everybody thinks we're out. That's fine. I think counting out LeBron is very stupid. So I think it's going to go 6 games. I don't know who wins it though. Hopefully, Lakers.
If it's I respect you having your team in the playoffs and one more series to root for, but
yeah, we'll see.
I'm sorry.
We'll see. Right side, Lakers basketball in the playoffs is back, and right side was the sick ass ESPN edit they dropped today. I don't know if anybody saw it with like the past and the present.
Oh, that was cool. The playoff hype
Insane.
video.
Yeah, it was like Kobe and LeBron high fiving, and it was sick. That was cool. And then like you shouted it out to me in a text. You were like, LeBron was in it for like current, and he was in it for past, like kind of sick. So. That was
he was an old Cav
and current Laker. Like that was kind of sick. Yeah. So that was also right side. So right side, Lakers basketball, playoff basketball is back. So hopefully by the time this comes out, we've split. Hopefully it's 1-1 by the time this comes out. But looking ahead, next week, it's going to be just Joey and I. We're kind of busy with work. We're busy with stuff. So that's going to be great. A little more of us. Going to be a draft recap for any Chicago fans listening. I cannot wait for that. That will be a great episode. So
big sports episode, playoff
basketball draft, recap of what else happens this week. We got a softball game at 9 this week. I'm super jacked for that. All the guys were 4-0. Washed Up Suckers 4-0.
Let's go.
Boys are hot. I think this is the year we get one. We've kind of been stagnant at second place, like 2 second-place finishes.
Third, this is the year in 2 episodes.
This is the year in 2 episodes. This is the year. So I can't wait. But other than that, I think that's all we got today.
Yes, sir. Thanks all for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Stay blessed.